One more praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to the Apostle GMS. This is Amnel Allah coming at you in the video. And I'm going to deal with the book in Matthew, the 16th chapter, when Yahweh Shah spoke about beware the leaven of the Pharisees. So let's get right to it. I'm going to start from the top. Matthew 16:1. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting him, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. So when the evening is coming, as the sun is about to set, you can look into the sky and you'll see the sky become red. If you actually look into the sky, you'll see it when you see the sun begin to set. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. So you can get signs from the heaven. Look at the word lowering. What does that mean? To be sad and sorrowful of the sky covered with clouds.
Strong's G 4768. Stugnadzo.
Stugnadzo. Alright? So it said, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and is filled with clouds. Oh, ye hypocrites! You can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? You can't discern the signs of the time, but you can discern the signs of heaven. You can't discern the time that you're in, that I'm the Messiah. This is what Yahweh Shah is telling them. That the kingdom of heaven is to come. That the Lord's kingdom is to come. You can't discern these things. That's what he's saying.
Thank you.
Okay. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. So a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh for a sign. So they didn't have faith. Real quick. So like I lost the page for a second. So back in Matthew 16:4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Now I remember where to get. They didn't have faith. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So they sought for a sign. They didn't have faith. Yeah, how about Shemel Shah? And there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. Instead, Jonas was in a whale's mouth, or was in a serpent's mouth for 3 days. Yahweh Shah was going to be risen after 3 days. Alright, verse 5. And when his disciples will come to the other side, they have forgotten to take bread. Then Yahweh Shah said unto them, take bread and beware the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves. So they thought among each other, they pondered, what are you talking about? Saying it is because we have taken no bread. He's saying it's because we haven't brought any bread. Which when Yahweh Shah perceived that they were confused by what he meant. He said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Make you think I'm talking about that. That's what he's saying. Do ye not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, how many baskets you took up? What you running about bread for? You don't remember how I did that miracle? Where I fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread? You don't remember that? You don't remember how many baskets you took up? What you worrying about actual bread for? It doesn't matter if you haven't brought enough bread. Remember that miracle? How you forget about that? Do you not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets you took up? Neither the 7 loaves or the 4,000, and how many baskets you took up? You don't remember all these times? How is it that you do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? So he's talking about the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, not actual bread. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees, right? So the leaven that he was talking about what? The doctrine of the Pharisees. Okay? Real quick, look at the word doctrine.
Strong's G 1322. Didache.
Teaching, that which is taught, doctrine, teaching concerning something, the act of teaching and instruction. In religious assemblies of the Christian to speak in the way of teaching in distinction from other modes of speaking in public. Okay, so we understand that, right? This is Matthew 23:1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to the disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So they're in that seat in the Levitical priesthood, right? All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. So they tell you observe, that observe and do. Because they're telling you to keep the laws, that's the right thing to do, right? But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. But don't do what they do, because they tell you to do these things, but they in turn don't do it themselves. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne. So they bind. What does that word bind mean?
Strong's G 1195. Desmuel.
Desmuel. To put in chains, to bind together. Bind. Alright, so they bind heavy burdens. Look at that word burden.
Strong's G 5413. Fartian.
Fortion. Burden, load of the freight or lading of a ship. Metaphorically, a burden of burdensome rights of the obligation the anointed lays upon his followers and styles of burden by way of the contrast to the precepts of the Pharisees, the observance of which is most impressive, false of the conscience of depressing souls. Is that agrees to be born?
Strong's G 1419. Dysbastikos.
Dysbastikos. It says hard to be born. But the word born, B-O-R-U-E. B-O-R-N-E means to carry. So let's break this down. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne. So they bind a heavy burden, something that's heavy to carry. They bind it or they tie it up. Think of like a beast of burden, like an elephant, let's say, or a camel or a donkey. You bind or you tie a burden to these animals. They're beasts of burden. They carry heavy burdens, heavy objects. They bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders. So they'll take these heavy burdens and they'll lay them upon men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. So they'll take a heavy burden and they'll lay it upon you, but they themselves won't even upload that, won't even make it a slight attempt to unload that burden. Think of a person that packs a bunch of objects on a U-Haul truck, for example, right? They pack a bunch of objects on a U-Haul truck, but then when the truck reaches its destination, they don't even get out the car and help you take them out, because they don't want to take it out the truck and carry it up and down those stairs. That's an example of the Pharisees. So they'll tell you to keep these laws. They'll tell you to keep all of these rights according to the law, R-I-T-E-S. They'll tell you to keep these rights according to the law. They'll place these heavy burdens upon you, but they themselves won't move with one of their own little fingers. They won't even aid you in lightest. They'll tell you to do these things, but they themselves won't do them. So they'll cast these heavy burdens upon you, but they themselves won't do it themselves. They themselves won't do it because they were hypocrites. Because the Pharisees was even going, you had Pharisees that was going off, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Now the phylacteries had the scriptures written on it, the laws written on it, but they were broaden these phylacteries. They would make it real broad, real wide, so that they would be able to write the law on the scripture and it would be seen before men. And they would enlarge the borders of their garments, like how you got the borders of blue on their garment. They'll make it large. See, look, see that wide border blue on the bottom of his garment? Because they was all about impressing people. It was all about getting the praises of men and the love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues. So this is an example of the doctrine of the Pharisees. This is the leaven. When you got that leaven in that bread, that yeast in that bread, what happens is it grows. It gradually grows. That's likened unto the Pharisees' doctrine. It's insidious. Look at the word insidious. Insidious. Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. That's the Pharisees' doctrine. It's like a yeast that in time it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. it gets larger and larger. That's what the Pharisees' doctrine is likened unto. Okay? And if you look up yeast can be harmful to you. It can be harmful. It can cause migraines, you know? Lower, I'll go more into this in another video. Let's keep going. I don't want to do it too much on that. And love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogue. They want to be seen before men. And greetings in the markets, and to be called of men rabbi, rabbi, or master, master, teacher, teacher. Okay? This is the book of Matthew 23:13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. You shut out the kingdom of heaven unto men, because based upon your actions, other men out there are following what it is that you do, and you prevent them from going into the kingdom of heaven. Well, you yourselves aren't even going in. But you won't even suffer those that those that are entering to go in, because they're following your ways. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for pretense makes long prayer, therefore you will receive the greater damnation. So they devour widow houses. They take advantage of widows. You know they're taking their substance that was left unto them by their husbands. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land, and to make one a proselyte or a convert, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Okay? So that's the leaven of the Pharisees. Told us to beware that. So much. The Pharisees described as thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashen hands. He answered and said unto them, well, hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but in their heart is far from me. Rest of examples of that. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. So they're teaching the commandments of men. They weren't about to establish their own righteousness opposite of the righteousness of Yahweh B'Shem Shah. And there's other scriptures I can get to on that, but I'm going to leave that there. So with that, I'm going to close and say, all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Shah, double line, see, positive GMS. Lord will, y'all better learn something. I'll tackle this topic in the future. Shalom.